Welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida's new and exciting weekly radio show. A show focused on businesses in Bay and surrounding counties. Business Between the Lines is hosted by Christy Kirkland, a business accelerator with Answer Marketing, and co-hosted by Jason Price, a video guru with Riplify Media.
Right? And welcome back.
Hey,
Jason. This is one of those times when we were talking before we started recording, and it happens every single time.
Eventually, we got to start recording like 30 seconds before we start recording.
Right? And
so
say, is that usable? So.
Or one day we'll have my dream of just having a studio audience.
Oh, yes, we want that. All right. So welcome back, everyone, to ESPN Northwest Florida's Business Between the Lines show. We're going to throw a little curveball out there for everyone, and we're going to title this show, Things That Make You Go,
So that's what we're talking about today.
Right? And we're going to just bring up a couple hot topics, things that we have talked about behind the scenes, and hopefully you guys will, if not gain some knowledge and some value, you will definitely get a chuckle out of this episode. So, yeah.
So we'll see.
Things
we'll
that
see
make you go.
This is a list, or it's not even a really formal list. It's just stuff in our head of stuff that we talk about, and we're like, we need to have an episode on that one day.
Right.
We need to have an episode on that one day.
And we were talking about this, and so the age factor came in because I said, back in the day, there was this guy. I'm like, I'm totally spacing, but I can see his face. And he had this meme that was out there, and he did these little impromptu things. And it always started out with things that make you go, And I couldn't for the life of me remember. And then I was like, Eddie Murphy. And I showed Jason a picture, and he's like, that's not Eddie Murphy. I was like, well, it was Eddie Murphy back from my time. I totally dated myself.
OG Eddie Murphy, not the Eddie Murphy that I knew.
So I had to fast forward and find a recent picture, and I was like, see the difference? This is Eddie Murphy, your time. This is Eddie Murphy, my time.
So we'll be right back with things that make you go,
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
And welcome back, everyone. So we're going to try this new thing out, and you guys are going to have to...
I don't even know what we're going to talk about. It's just going to happen.
You're going to totally have to put under the comments thumbs up or thumbs down so we know if you want us to do this again.
Or if you got your own things that make you go,
We'd love to have you on the show and talk about it.
Yeah.
So, in the past, before we do some of these recordings and some of the times when we've always gotten together, these crazy thoughts just pop up out of nowhere, and we'll be talking about one topic, and then all of a sudden we'll be on a totally different topic. And Jason has a story to share.
I do?
He does. About his shoes, or more appropriately...
Oh, Jesus loves me.
What is inside his shoes? And because we're here, we're being real with you, and we're putting it out there because that's what this is about, is helping people and helping our community. And I know there's somebody out there that has this problem. We're going to look for solutions, and over the next couple weeks, he's going to try some of these solutions, and then we're going to come back, and in one of our shows, we'll just pop in and tell you what worked and what didn't. But tell us about your problem.
So the timing of this episode is going to be a little off because we're recording this, but it's going to be on air, a few weeks from now. So I don't know. Look at Facebook. You might see my personal Facebook, the results of whether or not this thing has worked. So anyway, I yesterday posted on Facebook asking for a local podiatrist around the Panama City area because I need a podiatrist. I got some messed up feet. They're like all sweaty and they get all dry and cracky.
Yeah, not a podiatrist for the arch support.
Oh yeah, for like the skin.
He has animals down there that he needs to take care of.
So I'm in the studio. We're about to film this morning, and Randy then approaches me, who's the owner of ESPN, and he asks me, if I found somebody, and says that his wife is one in Pensacola, and then we're talking about this. And then Kat, who's a member of our A team, and she's with ESPN obviously, she then walks up and she's like, "Okay, so I have a question for you. and it's a little personal and it's a little weird. And I was like, all right, I'm all for it. What's the question? She's like, when you shower, do you pee on your feet? I'm like, no, I don't pee on my feet. Like, what in the world? And I'm thinking, she thinks that I might accidentally pee on my feet, and that's causing some kind of like a fungal infection or whatever.
No, she's telling him that's
that
a
was
solution.
her advice to me, was to urinate on my feet to make my feet be healthier.
So everybody under the show, thumbs up if you want Jason to try this and do a Mythbuster and see if it works.
I was told if you pee on your feet in the shower for a week, you'll see
it'll fix.
You'll see a difference. So I guess I'm about to go and whiz on my feet for a week.
So we have more than one solution to this problem. So we got a lot of advice from a lot of good friends, a lot of well-meaning advice, and this might go back to that caution thing that Larry put out there about advice that you get and give. But we're going to run with it. And some of the other advice was to go and use this cream that is for horses' feet.
No, the context behind this, though, Randy, then he walks up and he's like, all right, so this is what you need to do. You need to go. Was it Harbor Freight?
I don't remember. It was one of our...
Mark, where was it? Oh, Tractor Supply. So we're talking about my feet, right? And he says, okay, so you're going to want to go to Tractor Supply. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no, just hear me out. You need to go there and you need to get this cream ointment that's for horses' hooves.
And it'll fix it. It'll make it so
like
smooth.
Lidocaine, it'll make it smooth as the bottom of your arm or something.
Something.
Oh my gosh.
So he's going to try this, but he's going to try that on one foot and peeing on the other, and we will share with you the results. So if that doesn't make you go, I don't know what will. And then when we're talking about this, he pulls an audible on me, and he's like, do you like cheese sticks? I'm like, what? And I'm trying to put together the cheese stick with the foot process thing, and I'm like, well
I think
yeah,
we were talking
I do
about
like
oysters
cheese
before that.
And oysters before that,
And I was thinking, like, this is my thought. I was like, we're talking about
Food.
oysters. And that went to food, which then went to, like, Panama City food, which then went to Uncle Ernie's, which is a great local spot that has great cheese sticks. That went through my brain in, like, 0.2 seconds.
So that was another. Things that make you go,
Yeah.
So
they are not a sponsor, but I'm going to throw this out anyway. If you have not had the cheese sticks from Uncle Ernie's, oh, sweet heaven above. They pump these cheese sticks full of heaven clouds, and they are the greatest cheese sticks on the planet. And then they get this marinara sauce that they swear they must, like, make themselves and, like, sprinkle with some, like, pixie dust or something.
To make you crave it.
Oh, it is so good. So thank you, Uncle Ernie's. If you want to sponsor the show, we'd love to have it.
Right. And again, things that make you go, So mine was, where's cheese sticks coming out of all this? But I guess now that makes sense. Yeah. Because we were talking about oysters.
I guess feet to cheese is a pretty weird transition, right?
And we're just going to go totally flip. It does. Cheesy feet, right? Cheesy feet. That's a thing. Oh, his
have you
feet
seen that
smell
meme,
like
the Burger King foot lettuce meme?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You have to share it.
It's this guy makes this TikTok of him, and he got fired for it, I think. He's at a Burger King, and he has those containers where they get the shredded lettuce, and he has two of them on the ground, and then he puts both of his feet. He's like, Burger King foot lettuce. The only thing worse than Burger King burger is someone getting their foot fungus. Okay, I promise you, we'll make that link in the description or in the comments of this.
So you can watch it.
And you'll die laughing. It's the best 15 seconds on the internet.
All right, so we're going to just switch to a whole nother topic because, hey, things that make you go, I want to know, seriously, I want to know, do you think procrastination is a positive or a negative thing? Ooh, it's serious.
Normally, I guess it would be a negative thing, but I guess there are scenarios where maybe it could be positive. But I'll say, if you were to get all of my procrastinative's time, if that's a word, in my life, probably 98% of it is negative.
So I thought about this like several weeks ago, and it came from an area in my mind because a lot of people are listening to Dale Carnegie and John Maxwell and Tony Robbins, all these different people, yes, that are sharing their tips and their success, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. And some of them are saying, never procrastinate, get out there and get it done. And then others are saying the opposite and stuff. And, when you come down to it, this is one of those things that make you go, how do you figure out how to do anything and how to get advice or learn from any of these people if every single one of them is telling you something different? And procrastination was one of those big things. Things that make you go, And procrastination is one of those big topics that keeps, for some reason, surfacing with some of my clients. And a lot of them are like, I've been told, don't wait, don't get all your ducks in a row, just get out there and jump and make these actions. And in some cases, that's correct. But we have to step back and we have to look at our personalities. And each person, yes, read all those books, listen to all those recordings and those tapes and podcasts and glean from that stuff that works for you, because that ultimately is what you need to be doing, what you need to, take action on. It's not always taking somebody as gospel and be like, he said it and he's successful, so this is the way I have to do it. Well, if it doesn't work for you, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, it might work for that person because they're like a very organized type A, task-oriented kind of person. But if you're like a Jason, that ain't gonna fly.
That ain't gonna fly. And that's one of those things that the procrastination, yes. If you procrastinate and your thought process is, I need to sleep on it. I need to make sure that this is my best yes.
That's a good piece of procrastination.
That's a good procrastination. Yeah. If you're procrastinating because you just don't want to do it, that's a bad procrastination, because sometimes you just got to eat that frog in the morning and you got to do it.
Sometimes it's just about laying out the priorities.
Right. So any advice that you learn from this show, any advice that you get out there, any of these tools and stuff that these mega moguls are teaching us, there's an element in every single one of them that we can take away and learn from, but we have to make sure it works for us.
Right. And on that
exactly.
note,
we will be right back with another segment of things that make you go,
Live and local sports, high school sports, college football, the NFL, the Atlanta Braves, the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, the James Hale Show, the Coach's Daughter Show. Sports, we cover it all. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
Welcome back, everyone, to our crazy new slide-in show.
The super segment.
Things that make you go, So we are today talking about things because things that make you go, are around us everywhere. And Jason and I put these plug-ins all the time when we're not on the air. And I was like, we just need to come together and plug in a show of these. And I mean, if you don't learn anything, hopefully you will laugh through this.
One day we just need to have a webcam that's just playing, that's just recording while we're recording the show, so people can get like a behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Because all of these things come whenever we're not on air, basically.
Right? So one of the things I was thinking about just a second ago, and I think it was because something clicked in my head when Kat was walking by, is about traffic. Okay?
About traffic.
It makes me go, all the time. So I'm driving to an appointment, right? And it's kind of in the middle of the day. People should be at work or at school or doing something. And there's all this traffic. And I'm like, who's running the shop? Who's running the store? Where do all these people come from?
It's like that SpongeBob quote whenever Patrick lifts up the rock and he's like, who are you people?
Right.
Why aren't you at work?
I'm like, you would think during certain, common sense says during certain hours, people are doing their thing instead of having hundreds of people driving down the road. And I get, tourist season and stuff like that, and we have people like that. But then even in off seasons, when school's in and kids should be in school and people should be at work and doing their thing, even if they work from home or they work from an office, and there's a ton of people. Or you buzz in real quick to like a store, and the parking lot is loaded with like 200 cars. And who's manning the shop? Who's just, everybody's looking for a job because they're all out driving around. I don't know. It's just something that has always made me go,
Because why go to work when you can just drive around town and listen to music? And listening to your favorite radio shows like Business Between the Lines on ESPN 104.3.
I always have wanted like a megaphone thing hooked up to my car so I could ask people questions when I'm going down the road.
Yeah, like one of those police little things.
And you're stopped in a stoplight, and you're like, hey, you, where are you going? What are you doing? I'm morbidly curious. I love people watching, and I'm like, where are they going? What are they doing? I just wonder. Or planes going over, I'm like, wonder where they're going. So that makes me go home too.
Okay, here's another What pops in your... I had somebody ask me this one day, and it was weird and interesting. Whenever you see an ambulance, in your mind, do you automatically assume they're going to the hospital? Or do you assume that they're going to, like, a person who needs them? Or do you not have a default?
Lights. I do. It depends on their lights. So if they are lights ablazing and they're, like, super fast going down the road, I think they're going to the hospital.
See, I think the opposite. I think they're going to a person.
Well, because when you get calls, they're usually like, hey, so-and-so needs some help, or they need to be taken, and they don't know the level. I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, let's get there. Let's figure out what we can do, kind of a thing. And then, oh my gosh, it's an emergency. Put the lights on.
See, I think it's the opposite, because it's like the unknown of, like, we don't know the state of this person, so lights ablaze, we got to get there.
That makes sense.
And then they're like, they're stabilized. We don't have to rush. It's safer for us to
throw them out the
they probably don't want to drive obsessively. I remember I was homeschooled. And whenever I was younger, in elementary school, we took a tour around one of the hospitals. I forget which one. And we got to ask an ambulance driver, like the dispatcher person, a bunch of questions. And I remember I asked him this one question. I was like, so has there ever been an ambulance on their way to help somebody at a wreck, but then they got in a wreck before they got to the wreck?
I've actually seen that.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what? There actually has. And I was like, well, what happens? He's like, well, we just send another ambulance to help them and an ambulance to help the other people.
One for the people that were driving the ambulance, one for the person that was in the ambulance. Yeah. No, I've actually seen that.
So you've seen an ambulance get in a wreck before?
Yep. And saw the fire truck and another ambulance, because then you're like, now you have a vehicle involved and stuff. So, yeah, it's a big old cluster out there. So, So you hear the ambulance, just pull over. Even if you don't see it, pull over.
Yeah, just get out of the way. And goodness gracious, if you're driving down the road, okay, and then everybody pulls off on the side of the road, whenever everybody gets back on, this is not your opportunity to yeet back into traffic and pass all the people that are on the side of the road. So everybody just merge back on at the same time.
Right.
We'll all get to where we're going whenever we get there.
It happens every time. I just kind of like wait for the Speedy Gonzaleses.
Zoom right past you.
They're like, ooh, it's a clear road. I'm going to and get right in there. Yeah. Okay, so here's a thought.
Okay.
Was the invention of a shovel groundbreaking? I'm sorry, I had to. During our break, we were talking about one of his favorite things is dad jokes.
Oh, 100%.
And I was like...
It's my dream to host one of those dad joke competitions where people are on the mic and they're standing across from each other all serious and just telling a dad joke.
So when he said that, I actually was like, that's a new thing I didn't know about Jason. Yeah. So things that make you go... And then I was like, I got to throw a dad joke for him.
Maybe that'll be a special of Business Between the Lines one day. We'll have just like a side shoot.
Run off of. So direct message me your dad joke so that I can have a couple extra on him.
Maybe we'll have like part of the end segment is like, can Christy make Jason laugh with a dad joke? And you probably can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the other thing. The English language. Words sometimes, and I love words. I totally love words. I like to find new words all the time for things because I don't like repeating things like exactly. And you got to watch previous shows to get that one.
Uh-huh.
but I love to use different words, and then sometimes a word I'll be like, why do they use that, or who created? Why does that doesn't make any sense to me? And one of those is, why do we park on a driveway, but drive on a parkway? How does that make any sense? I'm like, if you're talking English language, you should be driving on a driveway and parking on a parkway, not the opposite. Am I wrong?
I don't know. Another side note, so I'm talking about parking. Most confusing question that I somehow passed because I have a driver's license. But whenever you're taking your driver's test and they ask you all these basic questions like, what do you do with a stop sign? You stop. What do you do with a yield sign? You yield. How do you do these turns? You do these turns. And then they ask you the question about if you're going downhill at a 45-degree angle, and then you're parked next to a curb and it's on this side, and you put the parking, which way does this thing turn and which way does this thing turn?
Which way do you turn?
I have never been able to answer that question the right way. I've also never been able to figure out whenever the time is going forward or backward whenever the time changes. Can never remember that one either.
Okay, so I have a theory about that, and I don't know if it's correct, but I think the time change was put into place, and I might have heard this somewhere, so I'm not taking the credit for this, but it's just something that I've thought about before because I hate the time change.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it.
I also hated being light out like 9 p.m.
Yeah, I actually like that.
Oh, no, that's weird. I wanted to be darker like at 7.
I burn it at both ends, so I'm like, I want the sun to come up at 5, and I want it to go down at 9, because I want a big day. But yeah, I do like.
See, I want the sun to go down at like 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Because then, if the weather's nice, you want to have a nice campfire. You can have a campfire in the middle of daylight. That's just weird.
You can have it at 9 o'clock. I mean, I'm in bed till 11. How many hours do you need to sleep?
I mean, I want to be chilling in the bed by like 11, but I want a good like 7 p.m. I want a 4-hour window of campfire though. I need to have enough time, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of time change, we've got 1 minute left.
And we still didn't answer. So mine was
that
back in the day, they needed more time to do their crops in their fields and stuff like that. And so they had that.
I think I heard that too.
Them.
Or maybe it's some placebo effect, and I actually never heard of that.
Right.
Speaking of time, huge thanks to our amazing sponsors that allow this show to come together: Vortex Spring, Highland Finance, and Aero Pest Service. Thank you guys for all you do, allowing us to be here, loving what we do each and every week, and laughing along the way. If you've got something that makes you go,
like Jason hitting the table after every sentence.
Hey, whenever I make a point, it's powerful. Okay?
Message us if you have something, because we would love to have you on the show.
That's right.
And please tune back in. I promise to get him under control.
We said this is going to be a special, unique episode.
And Jason Price.
Coming at you. Business Between the Lines. We'll see you next Sunday, 8 a.m. You're awesome.
Thanks for listening to Business Between the Lines. Join us every Sunday morning beginning at 8 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.